You know, obviously a tough loss 2 weeks in a row now in terms of just not being able to get it done. You know, I think we played two pretty good football teams. This last game, you know, was a game I think where we, in some ways, believe it or not, did show some progress in some areas. But when you look at it from the different units, defensively, gave up way more yards than what we anticipated giving up. Did not stop the running game, and obviously you allow that to get going, it enables them to even throw better than what maybe they would have thrown. And so consequently, they were able to run it, able to throw it. They made individual plays against us, which is troublesome. But you know, we feel good about the fact that we have good personnel on defense. We're experienced on defense. We can play better than what we've played. You know, their receivers made individual plays that were costly to us. We got to find ways of being able to, within the course of the game, help an individual out whenever he's not on top of his game or having a great game. And we failed to help Devon in some cases. And so, you know, he's played great football for us, and he's been up against as good a receivers as was Marshall's, and has played them very well. So, you know, hopefully that's just an oddity. But we had other breakdowns defensively to where you know, they're able to get over 700 yards total offense, and that's very unusual for our defensive unit to allow. Offensively, we continue to find ways to really hurt ourselves as much as the opponent hurts us. You know, we are not moving the ball with any kind of consistency. That comes back to turnovers, penalties, misreads by us offensively, and so there's ways to certainly get much better in both units. I think we will. I still feel good about the quality of athlete that we're working with. I feel good about their attitude, their work ethic. I think they will bounce back, and obviously this will be an important game to do that in. Special teams, you know, have not lived up to what we should be all about special teams-wise. Josiah, you know, did not perform well. You know, we did not cover punts as well as we should have covered punts. Just pretty much across the board, we can play better and need to play better special teams-wise. Field position still is a problem for us, but that comes back to all three units not playing as well as they're capable of playing. I think he'll respond fine. You know, he's played a lot of great football, and that was kind of an oddity. It happened. You know, no one competes harder than he competes, and he is talented. We asked an awful lot of him. He was on several special teams units, returns kickoffs for us, covers punts for us, covers big-time receivers. So he's doing 40-yard dashes about every other play. And so he's held up and has been very, very durable. Love what he's all about. He'll perform well. You know, you can still have one-on-one coverage, but you can get help over the top, and so that has got to be there. You know, pass rush is not a factor when you're taking three-step drops and releasing those go routes, fade routes as quickly as they were releasing them. You know, the pass rush isn't gonna help with that. So you got to help with that with coverage at times, and you know, we did not do that in this game. Now there's no question we'll be tested. You know, they've got a redshirt freshman quarterback. This is his first year of starting, but he's performed exceptionally well. He's a 60% thrower, so he's very, very accurate. He sits in the pocket. Pass rush doesn't seem to bother him. Very poised quarterback. He goes to the right reads. So we'll be very much tested with what they're all about there. You know, their rushing average per game is not high, although you look at their leading ball carrier, and he's averaging 4.6 yards a carry. So, you know, that's more than we're averaging. And so their rushing game is not bleak, you know. I mean, it's capable of hurting you. So we definitely have got to make sure that we don't allow that to get going. And then we got to be very, very sound. And, you know, we've got to mix things up enough to not give them a pattern. No. And there's good reason for that. We're making progress. It may not show, but I thought our line was very, very physical in the game. If you study the film, it's not a matter of routes. It's not a matter of running plays. It's somewhat a matter of execution. We played 3 freshman linemen at times. All our receivers, a lot of our receivers are very young. Our tight ends are very young. You know, Darius is starting, I don't know what it is, his 4th start, you know, and so we're young across the board. We knew it'd be work in progress. We are progressing. That needs to come at a fast pace now. I'm hoping that that's what we'll see. Yeah, and, you know, it just comes back to making good decisions and not hurting yourself, you know, taking good care of the ball. You know, we had some reads that if we'd have just gotten the ball where it was supposed to be, we'd have had big plays. And that's what we're not getting enough of, big plays. And so consequently, we're our worst enemy on that. We have big play potential. So, you know, that will continue to get better. But, you know, to say that we'll go from so-so to excellent, you know, in a game, it's probably not realistic. You know, there is a growing process. There are growing pains when you're young, and we're certainly going through those. But I like the attitude of our football team, our players. They play hard, they play physical, and the rest will come. Well, he was hurt, and so obviously, when that's the case, you're not quite as effective, and you don't get quite as many reps, and we don't go to you as much. You know, part of it is our offense. We're trying to spread the ball around. We're still trying to utilize Chase and where he's the biggest threat, and that's on deep throws. And so he still comes into play every ball game for us on that. You know, he's got to become a better blocker. I think he is improving, but he is not the complete player yet. He knows it. He's working on it, and I think he's improving along those lines. It could be, you know, AJ came in and provided us a little bit of a spark. I think he gets a lot out of a play. You know, it's not that Dad's not doing well or performing well, but we just got to find more ways to get first, keep drives alive, and you know, it doesn't just come back to Dad. That's really across the board. But you know, we have ability at running back, and so we will see a mixture of backs in the game. We have more depth there than we've ever had, and we'll continue to utilize that depth. Yeah,
one on your side.
You know, and you're going to always struggle to win football games, unless you get turnovers. And obviously, when you're -5 in the turnover ratio right now, that's not winning football. And so that has got to change. We have got to come up with ways to produce turnovers, and it's obvious that we've got to go into a game and be thinking about 0 turnovers from an offensive and special team standpoint. I think it'll be great to get home. You know, I think our guys accepted that challenge of playing 3 games on the road. I like the way they prepared. You know, throughout the course of the week, the stay at the hotel, the way we traveled, their pregame atmosphere, I think, was all conducive to winning football. So that part of it was good. Now, you know, there is such a thing as a home field advantage. We'll be glad to get back to having that. I don't think you overreact. I don't think we need to overreact, and we haven't as coaches. I don't think Josiah needs to overreact. You know, we just need to get back to kicking and performing the way he's capable of performing. You know, the way he talked after the game, he understands that he's a much better kicker than what got displayed in this last ball game, and you know, he's planning on performing at a level that's typical of what he's all about. It was an issue, you know. At times we tried to play underneath blocks versus hitting our gaps, and you know, and I think that comes back to wanting to make plays so badly that they were misplaying plays, and so you know, we just got to get back to everybody taking care of their gap responsibility, and then understanding that team defense is better than an individual defense. No, I never have, so don't really have any experience with them. You know, we'll go up there next year, you know, and so it's a long trip for them coming in. You know, they had to travel down to Louisiana, Monroe, so you know, they've already had a huge road trip. They traveled down to Florida. They didn't get to play the game. I think the only thing that happened there was the kickoff before the game was called, and so you know, they've had a tough opening schedule along those lines as far as traveling. But you know, they're located in a position, I would imagine, that when you talk about non-conference games, pretty much year after year they're conditioned to probably traveling, and to great extent. You know, we've had to travel distances before. You know, we've been down to New Mexico State, you know, and have taken some trips that, you know, that are long, difficult trips, but your players generally understand what they're getting into and are able to overcome that and play well. I don't think the distance will affect them this year. I don't think it'll affect us next year.